Can we check this real quick? Yeah.
I just did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got you.
Okay. Can you start tuning? Start tuning. Can you guys see?
So what they'll do is, as soon as we start the processional, these two will come bring this around.
Okay. What you said there, that direct box right there?
Actually, no, we could probably do it before the processional. We can do it when the jazz band finishes. Would you guys mind with that?
Okay,
good. And then, so Claire, then we're going to plug it into that blue, that black.
We need the aux cord for the...
Oh, right. Joe, can you go grab the cord? Claire, you stay here because he's got a sound check this.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Not an aux cord. I'm gonna go and move your stand back into its original place so we can move this. Either one, doesn't matter. Alright, just play away. Takes you longer to move it than it does to fix it. got it? From the piano as well? Can you not? Isn't it under the chair?
Thank you, guys.
Ready? Got it? Ready?
Yeah, because we're not doing anything. Oh, this is for a singing guy.
Right, so when they come out,
Just because we're doing the choirs first. Just because it's all big.
This starts at 10? Must be.
I think so.
No further than 30. All right. Anything else? You good?
I think we're good. And I'll stay up here just in case you miss. Where are the wireless vocal mics? Or the solo mics? This one? Just on, I have my... Oh, right here. Okay, so then I could just get these. Come on.
Alright, Nicole, can you lead us back to the chairs?
We also need Lucas.
Hey, where are like Krista and those guys going?
Krista's a senior, so she'll be...
guys, maybe just have every odd person
Okay,
step
now.
down.
Hey, take off your sunglasses.
Let's just have every odd person.
Wait, can you step down?
Sarah, Stella.
Stella.
Oh, wait. And then wait. No. Yep, go up here.
Alright, that's good.
Go. Wait, no, yeah, you're supposed to be on the top, I'll be on the bottom.
Yeah, switch.
You're good.
Stella, switch.
If you have sunglasses on, please take them off.
Aren't you supposed to be over there?
Or don't, because you're really looking at my face.
So good.
Alright, if you have sunglasses. Look at all these people, y'all.
I don't want to make direct eye contact.
You know what I'm like thinking about? I don't want to try and think that you're like sitting in front of them. Yep. And watching me. So that's fucking awesome.
Then it's on this side, fourth row, third row.
What? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, when we're singing, I'm just gonna be like,
Oh god, no. Why am I in front? Because there's a mic.
oh.
Look at all the people. You need to see
Every time.
Oh, it's Sarah.
Yeah, I think go up. Oh my god, just mount them.
I feel like I'm
Let's skirt this way.
This way makes sense.
Yeah, now it's around.
Oh, I hate this one.
Huh?
Thanks for my turn.
Just stand wherever. Just stand.
I'm gonna go by Cody. I'm gonna go by Cody.
Where's Cody?
Welcome, family, friends, and faculty, as we come here today to celebrate the graduation of the Steamboat Springs High School class of 2018. How grateful is everyone that we are out here celebrating instead of cramming into the gym. As we begin today, I invite everyone to look around at this beautiful valley and these incredible mountains that we are blessed to call home. Graduates, I'd like to ask you to now begin reflecting back over your unique journey which has led you here today. Our surroundings give us a beautiful picture of what that journey might have looked like for each of you. Imagine that you are at the top of a long hike, looking back down to the path you just came up. Look back to the beginning of freshman year, or further back if you can, and consider each of the different segments of that journey. It was most likely not the easiest. Rather, it held obstacles to climb over or storms that you were required to walk through. It also probably, but as you got to the top of some of those difficult sections, you felt on top of the world as you reached some goal or accomplished something huge that you've been working hard for. Today, however, is one of those Vista moments. You have all reached the summit in graduating high school, and we are here looking back at over all you have learned and accomplished along the way. What an incredible feeling it is to look back and see how far you've come. Now, graduates, bring your gaze to the sea of familiar faces gathered here today. Search through the crowd to find faces of family, friends, teachers, coaches, mentors, and of course your classmates. Each person here today came to celebrate you and this huge milestone in your life. Think about who was there with you as you walked through both the highs and the lows of your journey. Remember the lessons you learned from them and the encouragement they gave you along the way, and know that you are loved. Hopefully, in this crowd, that is what you see, faces of those who are cheering you on. As you move on from today with unending possibility at your feet into new valleys, new mountains, new rivers and cities, be strong and courageous. Know that alongside the beauty and wonder, there will continue to be storms and obstacles to face. As you face them, remember where your support system lies and who is rooting for you. Hold on to loyal love and don't let go. Be faithful to all you've been taught. Let your life be shaped by integrity, with truth written upon your heart. That's how you will find favor and understanding with others. You will gain the reputation of living life well. I hope you always find reasons to be thankful, that you will go and share the love and support others have given you, and that you will rejoice in the excitement of discovering who you are and what is in store for you beyond this valley. May your steps be sure and firm. May your days be filled with joy and laughter. Congratulations, class of 2018. As we move through this ceremony, continue to reflect on how far you've come and be proud of all of your accomplishments, large and small.
Twilight. On behalf of the Steamboat Springs High School staff and the Steamboat Springs School District RE2, it is a great honor to welcome you to the graduation exercises of Steamboat Springs High School and the class of 2018. And as Ms. Gary said, this final event at this Gardner Field the way it looks right now. We share with the parents, family, and friends who are here today great pride in the many accomplishments of this graduating class. We are all here to acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of the class of 2018. I would now like to introduce Ms. Rain Fox Welsh, an officer of the senior class, who will introduce the platform guest.
I would like to introduce our honored platform guests for the graduating class of 2018. Please stand as I say your name. To my right are my fellow senior class officers, Hannah McCright, Sarah Meyer, Micah Feely, and Harriet Leeson. Our two distinguished student speakers are Jimmy Colfer and Amanda Perlman. We are also joined by Kevin Tallman, principal of the Steamboat Springs High School, Dennis Alt, our assistant principal, and Luke DeWolf, assistant principal and athletic director. Hannah Gary, a first-year teacher at the high school, is our dedication speaker for today. Our honorary speaker is Lisa Ruff, who taught at SSHS for 11 years. We are also joined by the superintendent of the Steamboat Springs School District, Dr. Brad Meeks. Various members from the Board of Education are also here today to honor the graduating class. Joey Andrew, the Board of Education President. Margaret Huron, the Board of Education Vice President. And Katie Lee, the Board of Education Treasurer. Please give a warm welcome to our platform guests.
Would all the Steamboat Springs School District staff please rise? The class of 2018 would like to thank you for all the time you have invested in each and every one of us. You have dedicated so much of your time to not only give us an education, but also lifelong connections. You have inspired us to pursue different careers and have created memories that will last forever. We can never thank you enough for all that you have done. No amount of words or appreciation can ever truly show the impact that you have all had on our lives. So please join me in giving this incredible staff a round of applause.
Hi, family and friends of the graduating class of 2018. I would like to introduce Ms. Curcio, who will be introducing one of our very special student speakers. We would also like to share that Ms. Curcio has decided to leave of absence next year to follow her dreams as a writer. I speak for the entire class when I say that she will be missed. She has been an incredible role model and mentor to this class, and we are so grateful to have had the opportunity to learn from her. So thank you, Ms. Curcio. And now, here is Ms. Curcio.
Hi, guys. Good morning. It is such an incredible pleasure to introduce our first distinguished student speaker, Jimmy Colfer.
Hey, Jimmy!
Sorry. So, obviously, it's pretty clear to anyone who is lucky enough to meet Jimmy that he is pretty exceptional. He is an exceptional athlete, friend, thinker, Club Med guest, and student. In fact, academically, Jimmy is one of the most accomplished students I have ever had the privilege of being in class with. But I'm not going to talk to you about those things today, because when it really comes down to it, being a good student is nice, and sure, scoring a perfect score on an AP multiple choice test is pretty cool, I guess. And being able to skate ski 15 kilometers in under an hour is maybe harder than it looks, but those things aren't what make Jimmy so exceptional. Jimmy Colfer is exceptional because he lives life like an astronaut. Earlier this year, due to his affinity for outer space, Jimmy read a book called An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. In this guide, Chris Hadfield, an insanely accomplished space explorer, inspires Earthlings to adopt some practices of NASA-trained astronauts to make life just a little bit better. Although Jimmy only read the guide this year, much of the astronautical wisdom Hadfield imparts is already embedded in Jimmy's character, specifically the following 2 tips. Tip number 1, aim to be a 0. Now, for most of us, when we hear the word 0, it doesn't naturally lend to a super positive title. But in outer space, a 0 simply means having a neutral impact. On Earth, it means you act equally selfless and selfish. You are competent, but you don't brag about your competence. Basically, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, being a 0 simply means you're humble. Jimmy's middle name might as well be Humble. Despite his myriad academic accolades, athletic achievements, and his all-around rad personality, Jimmy is never one to boast or exclaim his greatness. In fact, Jimmy inspires those around him to become more passionate and more curious. It's because of Jimmy that I, an English major, who loves exploration of life on Earth, am writing a speech alluding to space exploration. Jimmy knows so much about so much and passionately shares his knowledge, and in my book, that makes Jimmy a total 0, astronautically speaking, that is. Tip number 2, have an attitude. Now, having an attitude at NASA is a little different than having an attitude in a high school setting. In NASA terminology, your attitude is your orientation relative to 2 positions. For example, your spaceship relative to the Earth and a satellite. Losing your attitude or path is not ideal because you could end up drifting, lost and alone in outer space. And I am no scientist, but I think that sounds pretty bad. In a high school setting, Jimmy's attitude is pretty great. He's chill, mellow, and he's always up for anything. In NASA terms, Jimmy's path is going to be a pretty incredible one. Already, he has forged a path of creativity and innovation, of humor and compassion. Whatever Jimmy's final destination will be, I know one thing. For Jimmy, the sky is not the limit. Finally, according to Hadfield and, well, most non-astronauts, astronauts make the impossible possible. As Jimmy embarks on his next voyage to the University of Denver in the fall, he is not only going to make the impossible possible, he is going to do it humbly, creatively, humorously, and on very skinny skis. So please help me in welcoming my favorite Earth astronaut, Jimmy Colfer.
Welcome to the graduation of Steamboat Springs High School's class of 2018. To all the aunts, uncles, grandparents, and other friends and family members, I know you're all so proud of your sweet little babies for making it here. I'm sure you can't believe how much they've grown since the last time you saw them. To all the graduates, I'm sorry you just had to listen to yet another person say that. I know to many of you, this valley is just Steamboat or the Yampa Valley, or that place that's just a little too far to drive to comfortably, but beautiful enough that you're willing to grit your teeth and make the trip anyways. To many locals, however, this valley goes by another name, the Bubble. In this idyllic ski resort city that somehow has managed to retain its small town charm, being a kid is pretty great. We enjoy more days of sunshine each year than Phoenix or Las Vegas, but locals are probably prouder of the cloudy days that bring the champagne powder we all know and love. Here in the Bubble, we're sheltered from many of the various problems and challenges that plague the outside world. We smile at those we pass on the sidewalk and wave at those we drive by on the road, unless they're tourists, in which case we pass them at unsafe speeds while complaining about their winter driving skills. Crimes published in the police blotter in the local paper generally consist of bears breaking into trash cans and people who forgot to pick up after their dog on the bike path. It's the type of town where this senior class had a run-in with the police after causing commotion during a town-wide game of tag. The type of town where Nate Kelly almost convinced the responding officers to take an hour off and join in on that game of tag. But in spite of, or perhaps because of, this idyllic childhood we've spent here in Steamboat, many of us are ready to leave this bubble and go out into the world. In the infamous words of Journey, I'm just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Well, sort of. I'm not a girl and I'm not lonely, but I am from this small town just like many of you. And just like that small town girl, many of us are ready to hop on a midnight train going anywhere. But no matter how much we loved or didn't love growing up here in the bubble, each of us has grown into the people we are today because of our time here in Steamboat. Each and every one of you has something valuable to share about what this town has taught you. As we go out to leave our mark on the world, let's never forget these days of our lives. I went to elementary school at Soda Creek, which, by the way, is clearly the superior grade school learning establishment and way better than Strawberry Park. However, when we were in 5th grade, Soda Creek made a decision. After a few collisions and minor injuries, Autumn Graham, I'm looking at you, it was decided that we were no longer allowed to run on the playground during recess. Now, to a group of rambunctious 11-year-olds, this was blasphemy. So later that week, the 5th grade class decided to make our stand. When we went out onto the playground after lunch, we didn't run over to restart our daily Foursquare tournament. We didn't sprint onto the field for a non-touch game of football. We didn't climb on the climbing wall, slide down the slides, or swing on the swing set. Instead, our entire grade went to the edge of the playground and sat down on the ground in silence. We joined together in solidarity and staged a silent, non-violent protest of this rule so unfairly forced upon us. We were sure that such a show of unity would surely get the ruling reversed. To make a long story short, it didn't. We spent the rest of the year walking around during recess, but we didn't lose that spirit. By the time we reached 8th grade and middle school, the Soda Creekers had joined forces with the Strawberry Parkers, some more reluctantly than others. It was the night of a middle school dance, which I'm sure are remembered with varying degrees of mortification and shame by all who attended. However, at the time, the dance was the peak of the school year. So when the clock struck 9 o'clock and the principal flipped on the horrible fluorescent lights of the cafeteria-turned-nightclub, nobody wanted to leave. After all, this was 2013 and we had just finished screaming the bad words that were faded out by the clean version of Macklemore's thrift shop. So clearly we weren't ready to go home quite yet. So we did the only reasonable thing we could think of: protest. We used our big 8th grader powers to convince all the little 6th and 7th graders to join us, and sat down on the dance floor that was the cafeteria and started chanting, "One more song, one more song." We weren't going to leave until they turned off the lights and played "Sexy and I Know It" or "Call Me Maybe" one more time. This went on for about 3 or 4 minutes. Eventually, though, the call was made to give up, and we all filed out the door in an orderly fashion into the waiting cars of our parents. Now, these stories don't have any great happy ending about how much we accomplished in our protests. In all honesty, we failed. And I think that's kind of the point. Mr. Nilsson, a physics teacher here at the high school, has a saying about failure. It's something that many of us here today will remember long after we've forgotten the quadratic formula or the difference between kinetic and potential energy. Mr. Nilsson always says, the only true failure is failure to fail. If you aren't failing, you probably aren't dreaming big enough. Life is supposed to be hard. They say failure is life's greatest teacher, and while they probably haven't had Mr. Nilsson, the saying still rings true. Our failed protests about playground rules and middle school dances might seem silly now, but they taught us something far more valuable: the will and desire to make a difference in the world. Harriet Tubman once said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world." To the graduating class, never lose that strength, that dream, or that belief that you can have a positive impact on the world around you. But you won't do it alone. Each of us is only here today thanks to the immeasurable efforts of everyone around us that helped us make it to this day. Look around you. Look over at the teacher section. Look up behind you at your family and friends that came to support you. Where would we be without them? Be thankful for that. Be thankful that Mr. Nilsson left his job as a nuclear systems engineer so you could come to class every day for a fist bump, a mint, and a waffle. Be thankful that Miss Boyd went to Yale to be a lawyer and gave that up to cry alongside you at the end of Schindler's List. Be thankful that Miss Curcio loves Levi's so much she would dedicate an entire unit to the rhetorical analysis of their marketing techniques. Be thankful that Miss Baker loves math so much that she sings songs about the formula for the product rule of derivatives. Be thankful that Mr. Branson is always willing to break out a microphone and a rap beat from the latest Kanye song so you can sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in Espanol and in style. Be thankful that Pio was there for us at 3 a.m. during our parking lot campout to stop the sprinklers from spraying us for too long. Above all, remember to express your gratitude to those that helped you get here. I know that I would not be anywhere near the place I am today without the unbelievable effort, dedication, and undying love of every person around me. Thank you to my teachers who pushed me to be my best even when I never did that makeup work. To my coaches who believed in me long before I believed in myself, even when I lied about wearing my heart rate monitor during a workout. To my friends for putting up with me despite my complaining about yet another trip to City Market to eat ice cream on the lawn furniture. And to my parents, thank you for always loving me and believing in me with all of your heart, even when I forget to show my gratitude for everything you've done for me. I am forever grateful for each and every one of you. Always remember to say thank you, to tell your loved ones that you love them, and never forget where you came from. This senior class has been through a lot together. Many of us have known each other since kindergarten or before. We remember a time when playgrounds were made of wood and full of splinters and amazing. We lived through Camp Soda Creek, survived the swine flu. We were one of the first grades in about 150 years to never have Miss Conlon, and somehow we're still standing. We all know each other probably better than we'd like to, and this will always be our home. So no matter where you go next year, be it CU or Thailand or the basement of your parents' house, remember where you came from. Remember that time you protested the end of a middle school dance, the time you made the best waffle in Mr. Nilsson's class, the time you played fugitive and ended up actually running from the cops. In the infamous words of Kesha, someday these will be the good old days. Always remember to stand up for what you believe in, to embrace failure, and to always be grateful for the people in your life. Because life is supposed to be hard, and as long as we remember that, I have no doubt that the SSHS class of 2018 will change the world. Thank you.
From countless hours of writing his own songs to sing in front of millions of screaming fans, Henry Tisch has been gifted with a musical talent not many possess. We as the class of 2018 have been so fortunate enough to have gotten the opportunity to grow, listening to the passion he portrays through each stroke of his guitar and every note sung. Whether that be in the musical productions put on here at SSHS, or with his band, Ben Blue and the Bear. After many months of writing lyrics, finding harmonies, and recording their songs, Henry and his band were finally able to upload their very first album called Something Something on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube, to name a few. I stand in front of you today honored to introduce Henry Tisch, who, with the help of a few classmates, will be singing an original song. Please give a warm welcome to Henry Tisch and friends.
Hi. Hi.
This is called Flowers in the Sun. It's for all of you guys. They told you to walk, but you always would run. They told you stop picking those flowers in the sun. You'll cut up your knees and burn your soft neck. Baby, don't scare me like that. But peel back your eyes, it's time to move on. So never stop picking those flowers in the sun. It's just time to go, but we'll never be gone. It's just time to go, but we'll never be gone. We'll always be right next to you, Mom, you'll see. It's our time to leave, but don't you worry. It's our time to leave, but don't you worry. We'll keep picking flowers under sunsets, you'll see.
Starting and changing, you'll see. The flowers are bright and the sun is burning. The flowers are bright and the sun is burning.
It'd be crazy to tell us to quit, you'll see. But that wasn't much fun. So you ran and you picked those flowers in the sun.
Got it. Okay, this next speaker has been teaching at SSHS for 16 years, and I've had the privilege of knowing her my whole life. She hardly needs an introduction, so please welcome Deirdre Boyd.
Thanks, Harriet. She was always that height, actually. I need to wear both glasses, reading glasses and sunglasses, so starting a new fashion trend. Now I can't see you at all. Thanks, Harriet. Good morning. It's my great honor and pleasure to introduce our next student speaker, Amanda Perlman. There's so many words that describe Amanda: compassionate, dedicated, disciplined, hardworking, articulate, strong, committed. The list could go on and on. But as I made that list, the word I kept coming back to was, quite frankly, the B word. Don't worry, you don't have to cover Grandma's ears. The B word I'm talking about is brave. She's one of the bravest, most courageous people I've ever met. She's brave because she's not just willing, but she's in fact eager to stand up to injustice in this world. When most humans see injustice, we do not act. We might think about standing up and doing something. Some of us might talk about doing something. Many of us like to comment positively or negatively about someone else standing up and doing something. But historically, most humans, in fact, do nothing. Because doing something requires bravery. And it's that bravery that Amanda Perlman exhibits in almost everything that she commits her time and her energy to. Amanda's goal has always been to make a difference in the lives of others, and she means it. And she means it on a large-scale, universal level, helping others by starting dialogues about difficult and controversial issues, by pushing for legislative and policy changes that achieve greater gender and socioeconomic equality and safety, and advocating for dignity for all people, everywhere. She's demonstrated that bravery in numerous ways here at the high school and in our community, showing her compassion for others through volunteerism and service. And she's broken barriers by being the first girl to play on the Steamboat boys golf team and pushing for the formation of a girls' team. This is bravery at the community level. But she's also brave on a more universal level. Before even leaving high school, she has found her voice as a political and social activist. She is not afraid to speak up or to take a stand on controversial issues that many of us might shy away from. She's passionate about gender inequality and took part in the local Women's March in January of 2017. This past spring, she was a key organizer of the student walkout for safe schools that she facilitated here at our school in the wake of the Parkland school shooting. She was also one of the leaders of the local protest against gun violence that was held downtown in late March. Not only is she an activist for her own beliefs, but by definition, it means that she is also encouraging her peers and her community, all of us, to take a stand on the issues that matter to them in their lives and to us in our lives. She's not afraid to use her voice for change, and that is bravery on a global level. Amanda's own words explain her philosophy far better than I can, so I will share them with you. She writes, "I want to make a difference by advocating for change and being a voice for the voiceless. This is, in my eyes, the means by which I can make the greatest impact." She is so very brave. I will close by saying that there is another B word that totally fits Amanda Perlman, but this time you might have to cover Grandma's ears. So instead, I'll give you a secret code and see if you can figure it out. Starts with a bad, and the second word rhymes with pass. Get it? Got it? Okay, good. It's my honor to welcome the very brave Amanda Perlman to speak to you.
Have you ever been in a group text with 135 people? Correction, 135 opinionated, stubborn, and very different teenagers who definitely act like the young adults that they are. Well, most of this graduating class has in order to plan senior activities, and I'm pretty sure they would agree, it's pretty awful. The decisions made were slim and the disagreements were plenty. But our class has something to be proud of. We stuck in that chat and completed some outstandingly mediocre senior pranks. And maybe a few parties, but you didn't hear that from me. Our class survived more than just this group text. We survived One Direction's breakup, Ebola, the radio constantly playing Despacito, Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce, the end of the world in 2012, and a handful of explanations to older relatives of what a meme is. Sorry to those that are going to have to explain later. Our class also managed to survive the brief period when our school blocked Snapchat. Barely, but we made it. To the 2018 class that survived it all, congratulations. Today marks a celebration, a goodbye, and most importantly, a new beginning. Today we can celebrate all that we have accomplished, celebrate the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Each student here deserves recognition of their successes, big or small. I am here to represent this awesome class, but that does not mean that I have been more successful than anyone else. We don't have any students going to Ivy Leagues or military academies, yet I think we are still successful. Life is about small gains, celebrating each step forward and even recovery from steps back. Celebrate that you are here today in a beautiful town surrounded by love and support. That sounds like success to me. And my biggest celebration today is that when people ask my plans for the future, I can finally answer with slight certainty. But please don't ask. Our celebration may not be like the end of High School Musical, unless there's a planned flash mob nobody told me about, or really the end of any classic high school movie. Unlike 16 Candles, a cute boy never waited for me outside my sister's wedding, which is probably a good thing because she's only 16. Unlike the Goonies, I never had to accompany a bunch of middle schoolers through pirate booty traps to find a treasure. And although each one of us is a brain and an athlete and a basket case, a princess and a criminal, but nerd herd is mostly brain, I can't say I've ever spent my Saturday in detention exploring the meaning of life. Celebrate that high school is most like Mean Girls, and you made it without a mention in the burn book, unless the plastics haven't released it yet. Whether your next years are like Animal House, Pitch Perfect, or even The Social Network, real life is going to be a lot better than a movie. Regardless, in the words of every cheesy movie graduation speaker, we did it. Today we have to say goodbye. It is a strange feeling to look at my peers for quite possibly the last time, to know that I will never walk the SSHS halls to class again. The hardest goodbyes are to those who have contributed to the people we are today. The teachers who have pushed us to be the best versions of ourselves. Mr. Nilsson taught us to make mistakes. Ms. Curcio taught us to learn outside the classroom. Ms. Baker taught us the quadratic formula, but also how to be compassionate. Ms. Boyd taught us to value our past. Mr. Branson taught us to touch others. Yes, he actually did say that. And Mr. Slowey taught us that we are not special, but we can still do great things. We have to say goodbye to our community. As they say, it does take a village, and we turned out pretty good. Maybe this village even raised a few Olympians who we can cheer on in 2022. Some of our graduates never have to take class again, and others are only halfway done with their education and only beginning to take in student loans. Though most of us are eager to move on, don't take your hometown for granted. The Walmart that you always happen to see someone you know in, the limited activities this town has to offer after about 8 o'clock, and the juniors who thought they were cool enough to park in our lot, may be easy to say goodbye to, but don't forget how truly special Steamboat is. Most importantly, today is a new beginning. As each of us embarks on a new journey, I urge everyone to make a difference. My great uncle once asked me to name 5 people who had won the Nobel Peace Prize in the last year, 5 people who managed influential charities, etc. When I struggled to come up with these lists, he asked me to name 5 teachers who inspired me, friends who helped me, and others who made me smile. The latter lists were significantly easier to make, especially considering I come from a close-knit community. Being a good friend, a good family member, and a good citizen can make the world of a difference to someone in need. You don't need global success. As we start this new beginning, I challenge you to explore your role as an American citizen. Moving forward, we have to speak out. This country was founded on the idea that the voice of each person matters, so do not take that for granted. If you take one thing from my speech, I want you to be inspired to vote. Your patriotic duty. Signing up online, then going to check a few boxes takes less time than it does to pick the perfect picture and caption for Instagram. You don't even have to text your friends first. Our generation is facing a mountain of issues that through advocacy, unity, and progressive thinking, no other generation has been more equipped to tackle. This fall, I will be using my vote to elect leaders who pay attention to issues that matter to me. I will be voting for leaders open to the change that we have been waiting on. And you better be voting too. After you have celebrated, said goodbye, and moved forward as a graduate, I hope that you remember one last thing. Have pride and have confidence. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have watched a classmate begin a presentation with something along the lines of, "Here's my project, I'm sorry it's not very good." Can you imagine if I walked up to the microphone today and said, "I'm going to speak now. Sorry if it's not good. I had a week to prepare." It would be ridiculous, yet it is still so common. Be proud of the work that you do. If it's not good enough, keep going. Only you can determine whether what you have accomplished is worthy of being proud of. Celebrate yourself, celebrate who you are and who you can become. Stop apologizing and start changing. Hard work is never something to be ashamed of. Today we have the privilege of celebrating, saying goodbye, and starting anew. Remember this paradise that you get to call home and enjoy your last days in the valley. Thank the people who have helped you get this far and those who have started you on the path to your future. When it comes down to it, success is small, success is simple. Success is contributing to a world that you are proud to live in. Have pride in your past, have pride in your future. As graduating Steamboat Springs sailors, we have plenty to be proud of and plenty to look forward to. Thank you.
And now we will have a performance by Steamboat Springs High School Choir, directed by Wendy Dillon, performing "In My Life."
As a very academically driven, engaged, and ambitious class, there are a multitude of different ideas when discussing our senior gift. We contemplated the types of kids within the high school that this gift could benefit the most. Noting that there are too many categories to pick just one, we decided on a gift that targeted the category that all kids at SSHS fall into, students. Therefore, the class of 2018 is gifting the high school with multiple study cubbies. These study cubbies are essentially a small room with a bench and connecting table inside. The door of the cubby will be glass, and the exterior will be engraved with the year 2018, so our class will always be remembered. These study cubbies will be positioned in the school library. However, they can be easily relocated as they are all mounted on wheels. We envision these study cubbies being used heavily throughout the year for individual study, as the rooms are completely soundproof. This gift was chosen in hopes of continuing the academic and studious environment within this high school. Thank you.
I am honored to be introducing the commencement speaker for the class of 2018, Lisa Ruff. She has taught at SSHS for nearly 12 years and has been teaching for 35. She retired last year, but said about teaching, "You're not teaching a subject, you're teaching kids, and the energy that kids bring to a classroom is electric, and I miss that." She has always been an incredible teacher and an even better person. She raised two amazing sons, both graduates of SSHS. Her older son, Chris, teaches world history and AP human geography here at the high school. Her younger son, Drew, is training to be a field medic at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Just one of Mrs. Ruff's many memorable attributes is her love for her husband, Jeff Ruff. He teaches at the middle school and probably has an extra copy of her speech just in case she forgot it. Many know Mrs. Ruff as that loud, crazy feminist, and at times she can be, but she is so much more than that. Mrs. Ruff is brilliant, candid, thoughtful, and always pushes you to be the best you can be. F. Scott Fitzgerald once said, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function." Mrs. Ruff has always had a fascinating talent to keep her opinions in mind, but to herself in class, while hearing her students' perspective. She has always considered what her student was saying or felt and learned from it or taught off of it. She is always graciously humble, even sometimes to a fault. And this opened up her classroom for discussions about anything and everything, all while still demanding respect between her students. Mrs. Ruff taught me to be decisive, but always respect others' opinions, and exhibited this in herself when she and Mr. Slowey would get into discussions. These animated discussions were often liberal on one side, conservative on the other, obviously divided, but with consistent mutual respect. Along with teaching, Mrs. Ruff was a sponsor of the SSHS Fly Fishing Club before she retired, and she helped get students out of the classroom and onto the river. Her love of the mountains was often seen in her teaching. I could go on for hours about Mrs. Ruff and the remarkable impact she has had on me in the 3 years I've had the privilege of knowing her and learning from her, but I'll let her do the talking. So please give a warm welcome to your commencement speaker this year, Lisa Ruff.
You guys, oh wow. Thank you, members of the board, Dr. Meeks, Mr. Tallman, esteemed faculty and staff, Steamboat Springs graduates. This is truly an honor and a privilege to stand before you today. When my sons were little, I told them follow your passion, the money will follow. That turned out to be bad advice. One wanted to be Indiana Jones. He is now an archaeologist who moonlights as a high school history teacher. It's much more glamorous if you're Harrison Ford. My second son ran around the neighborhood in full camo. He and his friends gleefully splatting each other with their paintball guns. He is now in the Army and jumps out of perfectly good planes. You know him as Mr. Ruff 2.0. I also told my sons to go to the best college or university into which they were accepted. One went to DU, the other went as far away as he could get from mom to the University of Puget Sound. What I should have told them is go to the best college you can afford, right? Which would have been my alma mater, Western State University in Gunnison, Colorado. A small school with a big heart that offers a great education and has a great mascot. Go Mountaineers! Anybody else? No, okay, sorry. So, in order to avoid giving you bad advice, I, of course, have turned to the pages of great literature for inspiration. Little Pomo lit crit, anybody? Dr. Seuss? You have selected for your senior class motto a quote from one of his most memorable works, Oh, the Places You'll Go. If I may read your motto. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. You've always had great taste in literature. That's why it was so much fun to teach you. Dr. Seuss is the 9th best-selling fiction author of all time in the world. I couldn't even find Hemingway on a list. Maybe I should have been teaching Horton Hears a Who instead of Farewell to Arms all these years. Theodore Geisel graduated from Dartmouth, where he first began writing under the name Dr. Seuss. He later attended Oxford in England as a graduate student, where he pursued a PhD in literature. He won numerous awards for his works, including the 1984 Pulitzer Prize, an Academy Award, 3 Emmy Awards, and 3 Grammy Awards. But his first book was rejected 27 times before it was first published. Theodore Geisel was born into uncertain times in Springfield, Massachusetts, in the year 1904. Aldous Huxley said of this time, you remember Aldous Huxley, yeah, right? Brave New World? He said of this time, I was born between 2 worlds, one dead, the other powerless to be born. The world would soon be immersed in the war to end all wars, World War I. 30 years later, we were waging World War II. It was during World War II that Geisel put his passion to work by publishing political cartoons decrying a fascist regime that was rounding up people because of their religion, their sexuality, their ethnicity, even their social status. Jews, Roma, people with disabilities, homosexuals, communists, Afro-Germans, and Jehovah's Witnesses. All were deemed the other. All were dehumanized and demonized by the Hitler and Mussolini regimes. Theodore Geisel applied his passion as an artist and an author of over 60 children's books to raise awareness of issues such as discrimination, alienation, and the dangers of an us versus them culture. He addressed a remarkable array of social, political, and economic issues, all in anapestic tetrameter. That's a poetry term. In Horton Hears a Who, published in 1954, Dr. Seuss advocates that people with power lift up those without. According to Seuss scholar Thomas Fench, he proposes a, quote, universal, multinational, multi-ethnic world. In Yertle the Turtle, published in 1958, he examines the factors that allowed Adolf Hitler's rise to power and warns that such authoritarian regimes and the suppression of information threaten the rights of the individual. In The Sneetches, published in 1961, he proposes a social satire specifically targeting discrimination between races and cultures. He brilliantly exposes the lunacy of those who possess stars upon theirs and the feelings of superiority for superficial reasons. The Lorax warns of the negative effects of consumerism run amok and the environmental impacts of conspicuous consumption. The Butter Battle Book, published in 1984, tackles the arms race and warns of an escalation of a nuclear arsenal. You may not have heard of the Butter Battle Book. It was censored. My family's favorite is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which offers an antidote to the materialism and consumerism of the Christmas season. So, let's consult Dr. Seuss for some solid advice for graduating seniors from some of his classic pieces. From The Cat in the Hat, I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny. Message: if you're gonna have your rowdy friends over, clean up the mess before your mom gets home. And be responsible for your own behavior. From Green Eggs and Ham, you do not like them? So you say. Try them, and you may. Message: try new things. Stretch your boundaries. From Horton Hears a Who, don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. From the Lorax, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Find something you're passionate about. Make a difference. From what I've heard today, you already learned the most important lessons. Your forefathers and mothers, your sisters and brothers, have not lain down their lives so that future generations can sit down and do nothing. Stand up, educate yourself, engage with the social, political, and economic factors that shape your world. Vote your conscience. And so, I leave you with these words. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. But first, find your passion. The rest will follow. Thank you.
We would now like to invite the superintendent of the Steamboat Springs School District, Dr. Brad Meeks, to the podium to present special recognitions of the class of 2018.
It's a lot cooler up here than it is sitting back there, so thank you, Micah, for the introduction, and thank you, Lisa, for your comments. I felt like I was back in your classroom again doing a visit, so thank you. Well, congratulations to the graduating class of 2018. welcome to the families, friends, and community members who are here today to celebrate this milestone for the class of 2018. Each of the graduates here today has taken a unique path to earn the privilege to be here today. As evidenced by the number of people that are also here, you have also had many supporters on this journey that have helped you through both the exciting and difficult times. Please be sure to say thank you to those who have helped you get here today. The diploma that each of you will receive during today's commencement exercise has created an opportunity for you to move on to the next stage of your life. Some of those opportunities will be planned and some will be unexpected. Wherever your life path takes you, embrace the journey on your way to make the world a better place. There has never been a better time to get involved in your communities, college, and workplace. Be sure to make yourself aware of local, state, national, and international issues. As you've heard this morning already from several speakers, do not underestimate your abilities to make a difference. Don't wait for someone else to address something that you see needs to be addressed. It doesn't matter if it is world peace or volunteering for a local community project. Please step up and help. In the words of Douglas MacArthur, a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. And John Maxwell has stated, to add value to others, one must first value others. Be that leader who values others. You and the world will be a better place because of it. The Steamboat Springs community continues to be incredible in the support that comes in all shapes and sizes provided to our schools, staff, and students. On behalf of the school district, I would like to thank the community and families for being there at all times to make this a remarkable place to be. On Wednesday night, the annual Steamboat Springs Local Scholarship Night was held. In the past 39 years, $2.7 million from approximately 80 different scholarship givers have been presented to graduating seniors from Steamboat Springs High School. This year, through the generosity and hard work of many businesses, associations, community service organizations, clubs, families, and individuals, we were able to present local scholarships to our graduates that totaled $175,250. If you received a local scholarship, would you please stand to be recognized? This class has also demonstrated tremendous academic accomplishments. Here are some remarkable statistics about the class of 2018. Approximately 76% will attend either a 2- or 4-year college, 52% will attend college out of state, and 48% will stay in state. Of those attending college, they will be attending college or their university in more than 20 states, and we have one graduate that will be attending college in a foreign country. Almost 13% of our students will take a gap year before starting their college education or future endeavor. In addition to local scholarships, the class of 2018 has received numerous other scholarships from their schools. This year, the class of 2018 received $664,472 for their first year of college from these scholarships. At this time, if you received a scholarship from your college, would you please stand? Thank you. Also among the class of 2018, we have one student who will join the military, and more on this in a moment, and 7 sailors will go on to play collegiate sports. So the class of 2018 is intelligent, athletic, has a strong work ethic, has learned to give back to their community and country. These attributes of the class of 2018 are a tribute to the students, families, community, and school staff to help these young men and women develop the values to continue leading a productive and fulfilling life. Well done. As I mentioned earlier, we have an individual who will dedicate himself to serving our country by joining the military. Would you please stand as I call your name and military branch? Enlisting in the United States Air Force in the Reserve Officer Training Corps is Bridger Boyd. Thank you. We are proud of you for your devotion to serve our country. I'd also like to recognize the graduates who have earned academic recognition. Students wearing gold cords are members of the National Honor Society, and students wearing blue stoles are the officers of the National Honor Society. Would the members of the National Honor Society please rise and be recognized? Students with a cumulative GPA of 4.0 to 4.099 are distinguished as cum laude. They were awarded a medal with a white ribbon. Would those who are graduating with the cum laude distinction please rise? Students with a cumulative GPA of 4.1 to 4.199 are distinguished as magna cum laude. They were awarded a medal with a red ribbon. Would those who are graduating with the magna cum laude distinction please rise? And students with a cumulative GPA of 4.2 or higher are distinguished as summa cum laude. This year there are 10 graduates with this distinction. They were awarded a medal with a blue ribbon. And would these students rise as I call your name? Amanda Perlman, Hannah Heil, Zoe Walsh, Annika Farner, Amy Spear, Luke Borgerding, Lana Pavarnik, Samantha Lee, Keelan Vargas, and James Colfer. Thank you. Outstanding. Graduates, please take what you have learned so far and use it to pursue your dreams and make for a better world around us. You do have that capability. Congratulations to the Steamboat Springs High School class of 2018 for all you have done to make our community and school district better, because you were here, and we're looking forward to what you're going to be doing in the future. Thank you.
Graduates, please rise. Would Mr. Joey Andrew, President of the Board of Education, please come forward at this time? As principal of Steamboat Springs High School, I would like to present to you the graduating class of 2018. All the graduates before you have met the graduation requirements of the Steamboat Springs High School, Steamboat Springs School District RE2, and the state of Colorado. I now present these graduates to you for your official recognition and acceptance.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Education, we would like to congratulate you in the successful completion of our academic programming, and do hereby accept the class of 2018 for graduation this second day of June 2018. Graduates, congratulations.
Graduates will now come forward to receive their diplomas. I would like to remind everyone that pictures of the graduates will be taken as they cross the stage. Presenting the diplomas will be the senior class sponsors, Ms. Britta Baker and Mrs. Lauren DeLay Curcio.
Now you just come up, I think. Shay Robert Adamo. Brendan Paul Andrews. Maya Marie Archuleta. Wesley Allen Armbruster. Kelsey Jean Armstrong.
Imaginary part, Daniel Adam Atkins.
Daniel Adam Atkins. Zinedine James Bautista. Peyton Scott Belton. Jake Gardner Berry. William Michael Burskins. Luke Richard Borgadine. Roy Pierre Anthony Boudreau. Bridger Cameron Boyd. Jack Arthur Boyle. James Kurt Bradley. Jacqueline Constance Brown. Lance Wade Bryant. Miles Isaac Emiliano Buchan. Olivia Butler. Koei Chan. Klein Wolf Clementi. Brianna Lynn Clock. James William Colfer. How's it going? Julia Hunt Congdon. William Harris Kuhn. Mackenzie Sean Copeland. Madison Kathleen Cosgrove. Sadie Francis Cotton. Whitney Lee Couchot. Matai Alistair Curzon. Ian Jabot Dolan Floor. Kylie Elizabeth Davis. Parker Rose Demera. Isabel Alma Demorit. Amber Nicole Elliott. Cruz Garmin Erickson. Hunter Conrad Eswine. Shaquille Dejan Fagan. Annika Brianne Farner. Micah Lynn Feely. Olivia Riley Flake. Rain Marie Foxwelch. Samuel Joseph Frikowiak. Bailey Adele Freikalt. Wyatt Joseph Gebhardt. Julia Michelle Gibbs. Zachary John Golnick. Ruth Evelyn Gurrell. Autumn Kathleen Graham. Lauren Elizabeth Graham. William Hunter Gruis. Theodore James Hansen. Christina Marie Hathaway. Hannah Christina Heil. Sarah Louise Heineke. Robert DeWalt Hellier. Diana Laura Hernandez Almaraz. Jordan Elizabeth Hetrick. Jean Harbor Higginbotham. Olivia Ann Hobson. Liam John Hopkins. Caitlin Angelica Ibarra. Lily Moon Itzel. Hector Enrique Jacobo. Elijah Michael Jenkins. Hayden Matthew Johnson. Alta Rose Castor. Noel Crawford Keefe.
What's up, Miss Baker?
Nathan Casey Kelly. Gavin Chase Kendall. Dakota Smith Kenyon. Jordan Elizabeth Clow. Mitchell Scott Clow. Zachary Stephen Clow. Cole Patrick Kohut. Elise Catherine Colveride. Maria Elizabeth Coop. Thanks, Landon. Landon Blake Craft. Taylor Diane Kreisig. Samantha Nicole Kiprios. Jack Thomas Lansford. David Baroni LaPointe. Benjamin Davis Larson. Samantha Jane Lee. Harriet Grace Leeson. Elena Victoria Lewis. Anne Riley Linford. Renee Robin Lorenzen. Maxwell Dylan Luber.
Tegan Skylar Ludwig. Eden Faith McGuire. Ruth Scarlett Maldonado Holguin.
Do I walk?
Yeah, come to me. Curtis James Maltby. Zachary David Martin. Kelly Denise May. Riley Harrison McCannon. Hannah Alexis McCray. Oh, boy.
We did it.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay, now I have to go back. Peyton William McElhaney. Did I say that?
Yeah, Michael Haney.
Okay, great. Grant Lewis Garrow McNamara. Caden Lowe Mendonca. Joshua Ryan Merritt. Zane Wolfgang Mess. Krista Noel Metzler. Sarah Catherine Meyer. Sarah Joy Miller. Zachary Harrison Miller. Alana Montgomery. Mose. Danielle Aquila Morris. Margaret May Morton.
Super excited.
Quentin Comer Morton.
It's Ethan Gray Moyer. I forgot my card.
Ethan Gray Moyer. McKinley Dania Mulbauer. Wiley Peyton Myers. Sarah Jane Nielsen. Jason P. Omi.
Jason!
Taylor Delgado Olson. Emma Rose Parks. Justin Timekeone Peretz.
Oh my gosh, come here.
Amanda Sue Perlman.
Who's this guy?
Davis Shane Peterson. Kelly Rose Petix. Lana Rose Pavarnik. Grant Wesley Pullman. Kale D. Rysad. Lauren Charles Request. Olivia Ruth Request. Mackenzie Scout Reynolds. Elizabeth Henwood Roach. David Arturo Rodriguez Herrera. Taylor Maria Rogers. Hannah Christina Rosencutter. Jonathan Thomas Ruley. Finn Brian Russell. Luis Antonio Sandoval. Maria Darren Aragon Santiago. Oh, Santiago Aragon, I'm sorry.
That was terrible.
Maxwell Charles Sauerbray. Catherine Ann Saunders. Jillian Bell Shear.
Sorry, we have to wait a second.
Stop, guys. Gavin Paul Scully. Josie Ray Seibel. Tenzing Futi Sherpa. Natalie Rose Simon. Megan Rose Skolnick. McKinley Jeffrey Scove. Amy Nicole Spear. Hannah Jacqueline Ray Spence. Ashley Nicole Spiegel. Kyle Steven Spagnardi. Martin Evans St. Pierre. Rose Genevieve Stahl. Zoe Shao Finn Stewart. Annalise Kathleen Stillman. Jack Tejan Shotback.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garcia.
Sven Alexander Tate. Brandon Ashley Temple. Alexander Reese Thompson. Henry John Tisch. Araceli Torres Hernandez. Peyton Reed Tritz. Lucia Elizabeth Uribe. Paige Louise Van Arsdale. Elijah Eugene Vargas. Keelan Audrey Vargas. Arthur Vasquez Garcia. Amanda Michaela Walker. Zoe Christine Walsh. Maddie Michelle Ward. Quentin James White. Richard Lee Wilhelm II. Este Margaret Wilkinson. Cody J. Winters. Frank Nicholas Parker Yaw III. Time Robin Zuschlag.
Graduates, please rise. It gives me great pleasure today to stand here and give you a few more directions, so thank you very much for that honor. I sincerely wish you all the best. I feel confident that you will continue to inspire, and I hope that you can pay attention for 10 more seconds to these directions so you don't embarrass yourself in front of your friends and family. Sailors, you have worked hard for that tassel. Please right now take that tassel from the right to the left to indicate your achievement. Congratulations, class of 2018.
In concluding today's ceremony, I want to thank all the graduates for a great and exciting year. As you leave our school, I encourage each and every one of you to take with you the skills, the pride, and the character you have developed while growing up and living in this wonderful community. Best of luck and congratulations to all. Following today's ceremony, you may meet the graduates in front of the school.